her face.
Good morning, everyone. We are so happy to join you for this just, spontaneous,
impromptu live. Yes, with the two of us.
We are both on, and we were hoping that we could go on live on our other Facebook page, so our Watercolor in the Word page. We were hoping this could be our first live on there.
Yes.
But unfortunately, Facebook
about
said
3
no.
minutes ago, we realized that Facebook says you have to be at least 60 days old, your page does. And we're like in our 40s
I think
now?
we're 40 days. So darn. So we were hoping to do that, but we're still on with you today because we wanted to introduce ourselves. We're getting new people all the time onto that page. And we wanted to introduce ourselves to those of you who may not know who we are.
Yes.
So I am Bonnie Krebs. I'm the creator of this watercolor technique for the last 38 years.
Wow.
That will age me for sure. And so we've been in the craft industry for many, many years and done lots of stamping and watercoloring. And this is a little different take on it. And this is very personal to both of us.
Yes.
And actually to all of us at Art Impressions. And so the watercolor in the Bible is what we're doing now. And that's what this Facebook page is watercolor in the Bible. And we're trying to encourage more people to get into their Bibles and do this technique.
Exactly. We want everybody to be in your Bibles. I mean, I can't think of anything more important in these current days than being grounded in the Word. And so that is our main goal here at Watercolor in the Word. And we'd love to have your help in spreading the word about this cool technique. We absolutely love it, and we think more people would love it if they knew about it. And so if you could just help us by sharing this with your friends, that would be great, because as Christians, we know that there is nothing that is more important. And so we all just need to be in our Bibles more.
Yes.
And this is one way to do it. If you love art, you love creating, especially if you love watercolor, it's just a great intersection of all those things. And it's so fun.
It is.
It is really fun.
And it's really easy.
Yeah.
So, some of you may have never picked up a stamp in your life.
Yes, and that's okay.
Have no idea what it is to watercolor and maybe scared to death to watercolor in your Bible. Well, we get it.
Yes.
We all get it. And probably a lot of you that have been doing this for a while also get it.
Yes.
How it's a little scary and intimidating, but once you learn a few rules and just kind of tiptoe into it, you're going to be an expert in no time. And you're going to create this heritage Bible that you can pass on to future generations. And this is your own art. And you're creating these beautiful images that is worship.
Yeah.
And that's how we feel about it. We feel like this technique is worship to Jesus when we are in here and we're creating in our Bibles.
Yes, and it complements the words and the truth that are already in there. We're not trying to make our art the star of the pages, but we want it to just complement and just a way of our expression in how we see the word, how we, it affects us and the different meanings that we have. So thank you for being here with us today. We're going to just take you through the whole thing. And, we're going to talk to you like you've maybe never done it before. So all of you new people, hopefully this is a great place for you to start. We have several of our AI community. I should say our art impressions. I shouldn't say AI anymore.
yeah, true.
We've been saying AI community for so long.
Years.
And now it has a different meaning to it. Yes. So we have several of our Art Impressions community friends on here too. So they've been journaling
great. And they're so great. Yeah, I see you guys on there commenting and encouraging, and it means so much. It means a lot for the page too, because it encourages people that are new.
Yes.
And that's what we're trying to do, is reach out and draw people in who would just love to do this. And the whole point of it is, like Kim said, it's getting us in our Bible, and it's adding to, it's not the star. That was a great way to put it. It's not the star. But it does add to the beauty of what the Bible says and the truth that's in it.
And we don't like to cover the words.
No, we don't.
That's one of our main. We love Bible journaling, but we don't want to cover up the words because that is that's the truth.
That's the truth, and it should be reverent. A little reverent. The Bible is not a humorous book, and it is what we put in it should be reverent and honoring to God, and so. We have those things in mind with every project that we do. And and just so appreciate all of you who are on here. We're a community. That's what we feel like. We feel like we're a community.
We want to grow our community so we can encourage each other, so we can do this together. And we've done that a little bit, but we want to expand that. We want to bring more people into our community. So so thanks for being here. We're going to show you how to make this lighthouse project. Thank you to all of you who voted, by the way, on this. It was between the lighthouse and the little deer sleeping, and it was overwhelmingly the lighthouse. So we're going to be doing more of this kind of thing in the future, where you guys get to vote what live instruction you see. This is going to be the first of many live tutorials that we do on here. We'll also do video tutorials. We'll do just encouragement posts so that we can all get on and just show what we're making in our Bible and what, verses or passages or books have been meaningful to us, like in the week. So just a place to come together and talk about the word, basically.
Yes. And the videos that live on this Facebook page, so the videos that are on Watercolor in the Word, those are related to Bible journaling.
Yes, so only Bible journaling, yes.
So Art Impressions has a page that has lots and lots of other watercolor videos, but this one is dedicated to Bible journaling. So those videos in the past, if you miss a few, you can easily go on there and just find them.
Yep, we want to make them super easy to find. And, anytime you have a question or whatever, just reach out to us, send us a message, make a comment on a post or whatever. And we love chatting with you all. So.
Yes, great. Yes. And this one is from the archives. I'm not even sure what year this came out.
When did you make this up first?
Sure. It's been a few years ago. And so Kim dug it up and found it.
I just thought it was the most beautiful project. I was like, we need to show everybody this because, we release so many new things all the time that stuff just gets kind of buried. And it's really, really good stuff too. And so there's lots more of these type of projects that you're going to be able to see, and we'll tell you how to make it, and we'll tell you how to make your own, put your own spin on it, or, for those of you who are new, if you want to start small with, flowers or foliage or whatever, we'll tell you how to do all that too. And there's a couple different ways to do it, and she's going to talk about that in a second here. So,
and this is instruction. This is all instruction. So there are a lot of Facebook pages or a lot of pages that are Bible journaling, but this is instruction. We are going to teach you how to do this technique in your Bible. And there are a couple of ways, like Kim said, that we can do it. And I'll kind of go over those a little bit. And then we're going to do this project. Now I'm going to show you another take on it.
Yes.
So there's always another take. There's always another way to use these stamps.
They're so versatile.
And once you get started, you're just, the sky's the limit.
Yeah, it is. It is. Yes, and you guys will get to decide if you want to see another tutorial based on maybe some things that you've seen today.
Right. And it will be Kim, my daughter Kim, or I, who will be doing it. And so you'll see either one of us. On there. She will be posting a lot of videos as well, And so we do a quarterly, just do a quick overview. Every quarter we pick a new theme. And then we use that theme and one set of stamps that sort of is that theme for the quarter. And then we move on to another one. And so that quarter, those 3 months, the first and third Tuesday of the month is a live. And so we'll be doing those on this Facebook page also, the Watercolor in the Word.
As soon as Facebook allows us to do that.
As soon as we get to 60, 60 days, we'll be doing that on here. So it will be on our Watercolor, our regular Art Impressions page, YouTube, and then this new page. So we're going to have lots of instruction for you guys. There's a lot of pages in the Bible. So we're going to fill them up.
So you want to keep following us. And actually, that reminds me, you have to actually hit the follow button on the page in order to continue to see us in your feed. Sometimes because it's a public page, you can check it out now and then. But if you want to continually see this in your feed, just make sure to hit that follow button and share.
And share
to your friends.
Yes, please do. We want to reach as many people as we can with this.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, are we ready to get started?
Should we get started? Should I exit the building now?
Stage right. And will you grab me a pet in that box over there, the page of the watercolor paper?
Yes, I sure will.
So
switch you over first.
Okay,
and
switch
then I'm
me
gonna
over
go grab
and then
that.
go grab that. Okay. All right, everyone. So I'm going to just scoot over a little bit so that I'm in front of the Bible. And we're going to get to this project. And you can see here that this one is in the Bible. So there are a couple of ways to do it. You can do it with watercolor paper that is peel and stick that you can just glue into the margin of your Bible. So it looks like this. It comes in a sheet like this, and you're going to cut it. It's 7 inches, so it fits perfectly into your margins. And then you're going to cut it at about 1 inch or 1 3/4 inches. And we have this available on our website. You know, everything is under watercolor or Bible journaling. And so you get, I believe you get, is it 4 pages in that, Kim? I think it is. Anyway, just cut it to the size that you want. Some margins obviously have more space than others. And so you can cut it to fit, you know, a larger space if you wanted to, or cut it, you know, in an oval or a circle or whatever. All right. So, and then there is actually prepping your page like this. So you can use the absorbent ground. This is what we use. We brush it on with a brush that looks like this. So you're going to just brush it on. And to protect your page, you're going to use a page protector, which looks like this. So you're going to feed your page into here like this. And this is going to protect the pages that are down below. So you're not going to get any ground on any of the pages that will make your pages stick together. And then you're just going to brush it on with your brush. And by the way, these brushes, if you buy these on our website, they're hard as a rock when you get them. So there's nothing wrong with your brush. You just have to run it under warm water and it will loosen it up. But I feel like they do this because it protects the bristles, you know, while it's being packed and shipped. So always be sure to do that, and that will soften up your brush. So you're going to dip your brush, you're going to brush it on, and then you're going to wait till it dries, and you're going to be good to go. All right, so that is what I did on this page, and that will protect your page. And not only does it make it like a watercolor page, but it will also keep it from bleeding through. So there will be no bleed through on the back side, even with this much color on here. There's no bleed through to the back side. And you can see back here, there's no bleed. You can see I've been testing a lot of things in this Bible, so there's some really random one of these days you guys will do a flip through on some of these Bibles, because it's, you know, I've done a lot of testing on things. So we're going to get started. This is from, I'm not even sure what year this is from, but it's an old one, and it doesn't require a lot. And actually this stamp set, so let me just show you what stamp set it is. It's this one. It's called My Fortress Set. And it's, you can see it came out, this is SKU number 5069. I think we're in 64 or 500 now. So this came out a few years ago. And this is the stamp right here. And it also comes with this cliff attached to it. So it's a big stamp, and it's rubber. This one's rubber. So what you can do is, and what I've done is, I cut this off. I cut these two away. So this is by itself, and this is by itself. And now you can use this cliff with lots of other things. You could put a little house on there. You could, you know, use a different lighthouse, you know, whatever. So that's what I've done. You don't have to do it that way. You can just use the whole stamp, and you can see what it looks like here when it's finished and watercolored. This is it. There's some trees added to it. The cliffs are on here, and then here's the lighthouse up here. So this is the one that I used in this Bible. So this has been a few years ago, and I had to really look at what colors I used here, because what happens with me too is I get a lot of color on my palette, and then I'm not sure what gets mixed in to where. So there's some mix of color in here, but I think I figured it out. So you guys follow along with me, and you know what? If you find the original tutorial, it's probably, you know, back in the archives, but it should still be on our Facebook page. I may have taught you a completely different back then. So we're just gonna work our way through it, and I'm pretty sure I know how I did it. And I think I've got the colors worked out. So, you know, every time you do these things, they never look the same. So that'll be fun. All right, so let me tell you what else we're going to be using here. So here's also, if you don't have this set, but you have this set, you can use any of these little lighthouses also. And here's what we're also doing this quarter. We're doing the light of the world with, guess what? A lighthouse. So this goes right along with what we're doing this quarter, you guys. So this is just perfect timing. So you can use any of these. Any of these are going to work just the exact same way. Then we're going to use the branches, and they are actually this set. This is the one I used, but if you have this branch, if you have the Bible journaling foliage set and you have this branch, this will work absolutely the exact same way. So either of these two will work. And then let's see what else. This little fir bough, and it can be any fir bough. It doesn't have to be this one. So if you don't have this one, and also you can use any foliage. It doesn't have to be a fir bough. It could be any foliage, any kind of vine that you're kind of growing onto those branches. And you'll see once we get the branches in, you'll see what I mean by using any foliage. But this is the one that I used in this project. That one right there. Then we're going to use the grasses. So here are a couple of sets that have them. It's these large kind of, seagrass that you can see in here. This is the one that I used. This is an older set. This is the one I used a few years ago. However, this one will also work. If you have the newer foliage set and you have this one will work. You also can leave it off. If you don't have either of these grasses, you can just leave it off and bring your little branchy, vine all the way across. So you can do that too. Okay, so let's see what else we need. I think that's all. And then I'm gonna just add a tree in here. I just thought maybe I would add a tree right in here next to the lighthouse just for fun. And I'm gonna just use, this one. Or again, if you have this set, you can use this one right here. Or you can use any little evergreen tree or any tree that you have. We have lots of trees in different watercolor sets, so you can use any of those trees. Will work just fine here. But I thought, let's just add something different, just because I have a hard time doing the exact same thing. So I don't know what that is. And let me see if you guys have any comments or you have questions really quick before we come to it. All of your good mornings. Hello, all of you. Marianne, 3 days in a row. Yes, this is my third live, you guys. So I'm just thrilled to be on with you. And I love doing these little impromptu projects because they're quick and easy and they don't take, hours at a time. This one, I mean, we did spend some time, leading up to this, but the project itself is really pretty quick. It really is. And the thing is, you can duplicate this in other parts of your Bible. You can go through and everywhere that it's talking about, Jesus is the light, or we are to be the light of Jesus when we go anywhere. We are that light that radiates out, or, the light of the world. Like any of those passages that talks about the light in the darkness, you can put this little lighthouse or any of these lighthouses. So on this one, you can see I left this little structure off the back, just to show you. This is what the exact stamp looks like, and I just left it on. On here, I took it off. For some reason, I left it off. But we're gonna add it to our little project here. So let's move this out of the way so we can get to it. And and you can see that I stamped it on here. Now with this one, just to make it a little bit easier, with the original, I used the two colors like we normally do. I use the two colors, the 565, and then right over the top of it, because this is rubber, right over the top, the 969, stamp it off 2 times if you're doing it that way. If you're going to do it that way, stamp it off 2 times and then stamp it onto your canvas, onto your page. So 565, 969, right over the top, and then stamp it off twice, and then stamp it onto your page like this. Or if it's something really detailed like this, and especially when you're doing it with the ground, this can get really muddy when these lines are tiny. So if you want to do it with this also works. This works great. And I hadn't tried it before, so I wanted to make sure that it worked on the ground before I actually showed you and used it on my page. But it does, and it works great. So there's no bleed from the lines like there is when we're using the water-based markers. So when you get into these tiny little details, if you really want to keep those details, use the ink pad. This is permanent ink, so it's not going to bleed. And you can see the difference a little bit here. It's much more abstract. We lose the tiny little details in here, but that's also the style of it. So if you like this more abstract style and you like, this kind of blotchy color, you can absolutely do it this way. You can do it with these two markers, or you can do it with the ink pad, especially if you're nervous about getting it stamped in there. Okay. All right. So I stamped the image, and then I wanted to make this this little arc here. And basically it can be anything. You can just freehand it, which it looks like I did. It looks like I just freehanded it. I just stamped the branches in and then added the foliage to it. But you can also be a little more exact. And here's what I did this time: is I just cut an oval out of my oval dies. Cut an oval, and I'll tell you how big this is. So let me just measure this so that I can tell you. This is 2 7/8, so about 3 inches really is what it is. And I cut it in half so that I could see the lighthouse. And I could see what the distance was from the lighthouse and the edge of the page. And this actually worked really well. So I will do this in the future. So just a good tip for you, when you're cutting something like that, you could also cut it out of a piece of acetate, and then you can see through it. But it's really important to see where that edge is going so that you don't get too far over here, you don't get too far below and above it, and it's hard when you're not seeing the image on your page. So cutting it in half kind of really did the trick. And then I just traced it lightly, really lightly with my pencil, and it ended up just right about there. And I feel like that's a good spot. Let me see. Anybody have any questions? Please, good mornings, you guys. Okay, Cindy is saying, she's saying, is Kim's Christmas kit sold out again? Are you sold out again? She said she looked yesterday and could not find it.
It is, there's still a few left.
She's saying there are a few.
Very few left.
There are a handful left. Cindy, there are a handful left. And if you can't see it on there, just call Leah at the shop. Or email her, feedback at Art Impressions, and she'll save one. Okay, let me see if there's any more questions on here. Lori says, I just started watercoloring and you make it so simple. Love it. Lori, it is. And honestly, even with anything simple, there is a bit of a learning curve. But once you get past that, it's a breeze. It really is. And it's just so much fun. And there's so much inspiration, and there's so many people who have been doing this that are so good at it. And I can't wait to see more of your work, you guys. I can't wait. We're going to do this. We do this sharing on Saturdays, and I feel like more of you will start doing that. And we're so excited to see your work and see what you guys are doing. Okay, so let me show you what colors we're going to be using here. And the color on this one is a little different. And I thought first that it was the 565, but it's not. It's not this color. This is too purple. So I think what happened is that I had some black, because I added black to the lighthouse, and I was using this blue, the 555. So it's the combination of these two and maybe a little bit of this. So we're gonna do some mixing and see how close we get to this color right here. And then we're gonna do that really fun sky. And as far as green goes, you can use either of these greens. So I think what I used was the 249 green, but you can also use the 177. That's it. And then the dark brown for the branches, the 969, and that's about it, you guys. That's about it for this whole project. So just a few little markers. All right, so now let's get to it. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to add some color now to this lighthouse. And I'm going to just put my palette up here. And those of you who are new, we are just taking color. We're going to dip our brush in water like this. So we're just going to take a brush, simple brush like this. And by the way, all of these things are available on our website, artimpressions.com. You can find all of these products if you're new. Tap it off like this. And then you're going to pinch your brush so that it's flat. So just like this. So it's completely flat. And then every time we go to add color, we're dipping our brush and pinching it off. Okay, so we're going to add some color here first. We're going to add some of this 565. 565 is the color just right from the marker to the palette.
555?
And then we're going to add some of the 555. So we're going to get both of these colors on here. And then we're going to add some black. down below the 555. So this is the N25, but it can be any black. N25. And I think this combination made that sky and water. Hoping. And then let's see, we need a little bit of green. Well, actually a little bit of brown. So the 969. 969. And then I believe we've gotten all of these colors on.
I was just going to add that for the people who are just getting started in this technique, if you're wondering about these markers, any water-based marker will work.
Yes, good point.
Yes.
These are Tombos. This is what we carry on our website.
Yep.
But there are other watercolor-based markers. They just need to be watercolor-based.
Water-based, yes.
Water-based, yes. And then what the testing thing is, so if you want to test them and see if they're going to work, when you go to stamp an image, you want to ink it and see if you can get at least 3 impressions before the ink is gone. So that's a really good tester. We don't want them too wet. We don't want them too dry. So we want to be able to pull that color out of the lines. But this is the brand we use. But of course, your water-based markers, test those out and see if you can use those as well. Ruth Ann says, good morning, Bonnie and Kimberly. It's sunny here with the sun, S-O-N, shining. Aww. Ruth Ann, I love that. Thank you so much. Yes, the sun is shining. Aren't we so thankful, you guys? We're just so thankful. Okay, so I'm going to start out by adding a little bit of color to my lighthouse. So I'm going to need just a little, the lighthouse is white, and so we want to add a shadow. And those of you who have been doing this know that anything that is white always has a shadow. So we don't want to leave anything uncolored. And so we're just going to add a little stroke on each side. Just like this. Pinch it off and just kind of drag it to the center a little bit. Just like that. And we'll kind of round our image up a little bit. And then under here, we're just going to put a little shadow under there. We're going to put a little shadow under here, under this little railing. And then these windows, these little glass windows where the light is shining, we want to just add a little blue to those. And then as far as the roof goes, it looks like I used a combination of the brown and the black. So let's just do that. We're going to just add a little of this in each of these little sections. And just, color that in just underneath there like that. And then let's get some of this same color onto this little roof right here. And if you can see, if it looks like there's just a little too much water on here and it's pooling a little, just keep pinching your brush off. This is what I do. I just pinch my brush off all the time, just over and over again, because it doesn't take very much water. So I'm going to now add some color to these windows. And so we're going to do that with this gray. And I'm just using a gray twin tone, but you could use any twin tone. You could use black and do it with the black. But I'm just going to darken these little windows and add just a tiny little detail in between. So just like that. And then we'll get these little windows here also. And maybe that little chimney. And then we're going to do the door. And we're just going to take some of this kind of mix of brown and black. And we're just going to color this door in here. And we're just going to, let's add just a little bit of color here to this too. We're going to come back with the twin tone and really darken in some of these areas again. Okay, now with the stripes, so you can see on the other one, you can see on this one, I colored in these black stripes. So let's do that. So we're going to take some of this black and we're just going to ink in And you don't really have to be careful about this. They don't, these lines don't have to be exact. And they probably won't be. Mine never are. I don't know, but I just can never do anything exact. So I've got the little stripes in here. We can go back over it again and darken them a little bit more. Okay, and I think when these when this dries a little bit, I think I'll go back in and darken those windows just to make sure that we can really see those little windows in there. Okay, so now we want to just make sure that we have a shadow in this doorway. So that can just set that door back into the building. And make sure we have a shadow on there and a shadow under here as well. Just like so. Okay? And this little building here is kind of back. So it's going to have just a little bit of color on it, even though it's white. Okay, so looks good. So I'm going to take my brown now and I'm just going to darken these windows again so that they really pop. And we can see that there are windows. And, we could kind of come under here and just darken some of these areas too. Back in here. And maybe we just add some little details in here too. Into that little roof. Okay, so we're really pretty much done with the lighthouse. Let's see if I can just zoom in a little bit closer here so you guys can see. And then there's a little detail that is just up here like this, so we're just gonna put that back in. These little details back in. Okay, so now let's move this aside and we're going to do our little branch that goes around like this. So let's do that. And I'm just going to take my brown, and here's my little branch, and use whichever branch that you have. So it doesn't have to be this one. And I'm going to move my water out of the way because I'm going to turn this Bible and I'm going to go the other direction. So the stamp, the way that the stamp is it goes around like this. So I'm just going to move my Bible so that I can position it a little bit better. And I'm going to start up here and go down because it's got this natural bent to it. So we're just going to start up here and we're just going to kind of work our way down, and you can stamp it twice before you re-ink it. So you can see I'm coloring right on my stamp. And you're just going to go like this. And just bring that all the way around. Okay, and then just come back over here and just kind of finish this off. So we'll just start here and go up like that. Okay, so now we've got this little rounded border. And now we can switch over to our green like this. And we're going to take this little fir bough. This is all it takes to create that giant, vine. And we're just going to ink it with the 249. So this is a 249 green. And you're just going to ink this, and you're just going to just start adding it in. And you can add in as much of this as you want. And don't ink it every time. The reason that we don't ink it every time is because we want the lights and the darks in there. And if you ink it every time, you get all the same color when you add the water to it. And some of them should be just a little lighter. And it brings them to the background when you do it that way. So we're just going to continue around like this. Just like so. Okay, there we go. So now we can kind of see where our parameters are here, and we can add our background in. So we can add the sky in, we can add the water in. But first we're going to add a little bit of water. And you know what? Let's do the ground here. Let's do the hill first before we add water to this, because we can kind of blend everything together a little bit. And you can see from this one that everything is kind of blended together. See how the green just kind of blends into the sky? If we wait to do that, it's a little easier to blend everything together. So let's do that. Okay, so I'm going to take a little bit of this brown and mix a little black into it. You can also mix a little blue into it too. And keep it really, really light. Just keep it really light. You can always add more color to it. And just bring that down so it looks like a hill, you know, like this lighthouse is up on a hill. And then let's get the water in. Or should we? You know what? Let's put the tree in. But we want to make sure this is dry before we do that. So let's make sure that's really dry. And in the meantime, I think we can just mix some of this color. So I think this is pretty close to what the water color is. And you know you can use the little lines on your Bible to make your water line. So let's just start with it here. And we'll just continue over and just kind of brush this in. And depending on where you live, you know, the ocean is a different color. It's this color in the Pacific Northwest. You know, our ocean is really rough here. Okay, so I think that's pretty close to the color that we had. And then I'm just going to take a little bit of that and just create a little shadow here of that lighthouse just coming down. Okay, so now we got to wait for this to dry before we can put the tree in. But let's do this. Let's do some of the sky since we're mixing this color up. So let's get the first part of the sky in. So I'm taking a little bit of this blue and I'm going to take a little bit of this blue. And you know, if you're not sure, test it out on a piece of watercolor paper. You know, just test it out and see if you like the color. And then just start out light. So you can build this color, you know, in the background. So we're just going to kind of brush it in like this. And if it gets into the green, that's okay. And just start brushing this in. Be careful not to touch the color that you've already put on your lighthouse because it will bleed. And so we're going to get some of this color in here also. We're going to come almost down to the water line in here. Okay, and we're going to let that dry just for a little bit. And let's go on to the little fir boughs here. And so we're just kind of touching them with the water, with your brush. Just touch all these little, you know, pine needles. And let this all just kind of blend together. And you can drag this color out and you can see that it just kind of creates this really cool background when you just drag this color out. So we don't really want to lose the shape of the fir boughs, so you don't want to add too much color to it. Or too much water to it. And you can see all I'm doing is just tapping these little needles, pine needles. And letting the color just kind of do its thing. It just kind of blends out and makes it really, just really soft. And so I'm pulling some of this color out to the background. Okay, let's see, is that pretty, feels pretty dry. Okay, so let's add it, let's add the tree in there. We're gonna use the same green, and we're not gonna make it too tall. So we'll just stamp it in here. Oops, let's move it over here. So much easier to see. And we'll put that tree in there like that. And then just add a little water to it. And we've got our tree. Okay, so now let's continue. We're going to add some more to that sky. So we're going to add some more of this color. We're just going to just kind of brush it in like this. And just let your brush just kind of, you know, make these little clouds. And I'm taking, you know, I'm taking a mix of color here. And some of these, you know, some of these clouds are pretty dark. And you can just kind of keep building this color. And just keep going until you you like it, till it's as dark as you want it, or as, you know, dramatic as you want it. And then I just left this just a little bit lighter where it kind of hits the ground. Where that kind of hits the ground like that. And then let's put in the grasses. So let's just take this and we're going to ink this up. And we're going to use that same green, so the 249, and we're just going to stamp this in here like this. And really you only have to add water to the base of these grasses. So we want to see this detail at the tops. And so you can just kind of touch these little areas a little bit, but you don't want to add too much water to these little grasses. And let's just make this just a little bit darker in here. It's a little shadow. As that comes down. And then you can kind of assess this and see if you want to add more foliage in here. And I think let's do that. Let's just add a little more foliage. And maybe you could change the green too and add a little different color of green in here. So let's do this. So this is the 249. So let's just do a little bit more of this. And make sure that it's dry so that you don't get a bleed. Your color doesn't bleed. And you can just kind of, you know, drag this down in here like this. So you can see that, more of that image. Bring some of these in a little bit more. And now as we kind of come down here, we can go over this area. And you can keep adding to that sky. You can keep adding to the sky, so you could blend it out a little bit more. And you can just keep adding more color to it. And I'm going to add just a little more shadow up here of this dark color. Just to make it a little more dramatic looking. Okay, you guys, we did it. We did it. And let me show you another another option. So here's this one. Make sure that you date it. I wish I would have done that on some of these old projects that I did. I wish I would have put the date on there so that I could see how far back they went. But do that on yours. So you have a little date stamp in your set. So when we start the new year, there's a little 2025. Next year will be a 2026 little stamp in there, and just somewhere hide it in here so that you can see where it's, you can see when you started and when you did some of these projects. I can just see a little spot here that I think I want to add to, and maybe just another little one here. And you can come back to it. If you come back to this in 3 or 4 days and you think, oh man, I wish I would have, whatever, you can still do that. You can still come back to it and add more water to it, add more detail to it. Okay, let me show you another option. So here is another totally different look. This is the watercolor paper. And I just took this same lighthouse, and you can see the difference in the whole look of it as opposed to this one. And this one, these just peel off and they can just stick right into your margin. So you don't have to worry about coloring right into your Bible. And you know,
don't have to prep your page either.
And you don't have to prep your page, Kim says. This is her preferred way of doing it.
This is my favorite way.
She will use watercolor paper every time. She loves that so much. And actually, we have the watercolor paper because of her. Because she went after it and tried, got it made just for us. Just because, there are so many people who are nervous to just stamp in their Bible. And so this way, you can do a project and, as soon as you're happy with it, then you can add it to your page. And this is very thin. This is the thinnest watercolor paper you'll ever see. It's super thin. So you just peel it off and you can add it to your page. Let's do one more thing. So now that this is dry, we're going to stamp this little tree right over the top of this. And let's do it in a different color. Let's do it in the other green. And then we'll get a little bit more detail in it. See how cute? And then you can just, bring some of these details out. Just kind of drag it out with your brush. So this other option is the same stamps. It's using the exact same stamps. So here's the little branches and the fir boughs. And here's that grass in the front. I just added some white flowers with the white paint. But it's all the same. It's all the same stamps. Just those 4 stamps. And we are finished with this. So let me show you guys one more thing. This is from way back when too, when this set first came out. Let me zoom out. This is what that stamp looks like with the cliff and everything in it, and it's a full page. So it comes with, that set comes with, let me just show you. let me just show you where I put that. Where did I put it? This one. So you can see here is the lighthouse with the cliff in here, and then here is the little stone out in front. Oh, here 2018. So I did put the date on this one. And then here is the flying seagull that is just right over the top. So all of these things can make a full margin. You can fill up your margin with all of these stamps. And then on the other side, I put refuge, and I just added some florals around these letters. This is that set. This is that set right here. It's the Bible journaling watercolor serif set, and they're just stamped in here. And then we just add the flowers and the foliage to it, just like we did before. Put a little seagull on here. But this will complete your entire page. This will do your entire page in your Bible if you want to try that. So just an idea. This is a great thing to do in the margin, especially if you have something like this on the other side. So you can have your image of your lighthouse, and then you can have your word in the margin. And these words are they're so fun and easy to do. You can do all the attributes of God. There's so many words that you can put in the margin of your Bible. So just another idea. But this is what it looks like when you stamp the whole thing with the cliff, including the water that's down here. And now we have the white paint. We didn't have the white paint back then, so we can make white waves splashing up on the rocks. So the spray, we can make the spray on the rocks now. So one of these times we'll have to do that one too. So we now have the white paint, but this is what it looks like to do the whole page like this. And so there are lots of ways that you can change it up. You know, when you have the stamp, you can change it up and make it a little different. You could also take the lighthouse and put it on this rock here. So there's a lot of different options that you can do. But anyway, that was from 2018. But you see what I mean by different ways. Here's what the watercolor paper would look like, and this is just in a square box. So taped off with some Post-it tape and then stamped on the inside. On here, same stamps, same ones that we used on this one. So two different options, you guys. So let me switch over and say hello and goodbye to all of you. And thank you for being on with me. And thank you for being on with me and Kim earlier on. She is so much fun to work with. I just absolutely love partnering with her on this Facebook page. We have such a good time. We love this so much. And we know how important it is for all of us to be in our Bible. So thanks for jumping on to this, impromptu tutorial. If you want to see more of these, be sure to put it in the comments. Kim sees the comments, and so she will keep track of all of that. If you have suggestions, something that maybe you want to see, put that in the comments. Would love to hear it. Would love to get your feedback and hear from all of you. And if you haven't joined our Watercolor in the Word page, please head over, hit follow, and please share with your friends. We really want to encourage people to jump on with us and join our community. So thanks, everyone. Have a great rest of your day. Thanks all of you who have been on with me 3 days straight. It's just been the best. And we will see you all next week. Next week is Bible journaling. So next week is Tuesday, the 1st and 3rd Tuesday of the month. So next week is the 3rd Tuesday already. So Bible journaling, 8 o'clock in the morning Pacific time. So we'll see you all again. We'll be doing another project for the quarter that we are in right now, which is the Light of the World, which is this one. So we'll be doing another project in here. So everyone, thank you so much for being on with me. Appreciate it so much. Kim and I both do. And I will see you all next